This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good yawning this morning and welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, your station for fresh news, smart talk all day. It is Monday, the 10th of August, 2026, and you are on the clock with Erin, Greene. We got lots to talk about this morning. I'm still trying to read this board appointment story. I think there are lots of questions that can be answered with the aid of the boards and committees list. As I say, I think everybody should have it. Anybody who's an activist or an advocate should have it, take a look at it, at the very least, so you could identify the mechanisms that are available for you to advocate on behalf of the constituency, the group of people you represent, or the issues that you're trying to resolve. But before we go anywhere, you got 2 days left to drop your form in the box. Guardian Radio and the Guardian Media Group want to send you away for the summer with the Great Summer Escape Giveaway. Including hotel, car, luggage, and $1,000 cash. All you need is your passport. Just get a Nassau Guardian newspaper, fill out the entry form, drop it in the entry box at the Nassau Guardian in Oaksfield, and tune into Guardian Radio and follow the Nassau Guardian platforms for your chances to win. The Guardian Media Group Great Summer Escape Giveaway. Deadline to enter is August 12th. The drawing takes place on August 14th. Today is August 10th. You got today, tomorrow, and Wednesday to buy your copy of the Nassau Guardian, fill out the form, and drop it in the box at the Nassau Guardian in Oaksfield. On Carter Street, number 4 Carter Street to be precise. So when I said we were providing free entries to callers, it turns out it was a free entry because you didn't have to buy a Guardian newspaper to fill out the form. I want to say good luck to everybody that has dropped their form in the box. And you got today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, to get your entry in there. So for today's show, I wanted to highlight a couple of little traffic incidents. I want to start with a hypothetical. I want to know, do foreign diplomats in the country have different rules for road use? Like, do they have different rules that apply to them? It's just a hypothetical, right? I just want to ask a hypothetical. Because, hypothetically, if a car hypothetically flew off of Fowler Street, through the stop sign, onto Bay Street, and they made their way from Fowler Street to the complex where the Governor General's office is, right? Does the law allow them to speed and break basic traffic controls because they got a meeting with the Governor General? I just want to know. Also, have the rules changed fundamentally for all drivers, or is it just taxi drivers? This is another hypothetical, right? If you were hypothetically on Shirley Street making your way downtown, right? And a car just slides through a stop sign onto Shirley Street in front of you, and then you prevent an accident by navigating out of that lane, right? And then the person follows you to ask you why you're looking at their vehicle. And my answer would be because I like to stare death in the face. I like to stare death in the face. If you're going to try take me, we're going to have to fight about it. Right? To then expose that you have your joint behind your ear. It's just a hypothetical, you know. I just want to know, like, have the rules changed? Are there no longer stop signs at intersections, or is it just for taxi drivers? I would like to know, now this isn't hypothetical, I would really like to know in real life, how do you get a taxi plate, but you don't know what a stop sign is or where you could expect to see them? I'm a road user, and I'm going to work. And the police are having some sort of exercise, a parade, maybe they're practicing how to march in unison. I don't know. Would you not expect that there is a public notice that the roadways will be temporarily closed for this particular activity? And in the absence of a public notice, would you expect officers to be assigned to intersections, right, on the path of the parade to indicate to drivers what's happening, to indicate to drivers what an alternate route, what alternate routes could be used, right? And to generally moderate traffic behavior. Like, wouldn't you expect that in a real country? See, in a real country, I don't expect to observe police officers telling people to break the law. On Shirley Street, just east of East Street, there is a pedestrian crossing. It's beautifully painted in the road. And yet, every day, tourists and Bahamians ignore the pedestrian crossing and decide they're going to cross in of moving traffic. I'm going to go to the phone line. The way this light is beeping, I think they have something to say. Good. Caller, I hit the wrong button. Call back. Call back, call. I hit the wrong button. It was me. It was me. It's my bad. I am very sorry. Let me apologize again. Sorry. Question, can you apply multiple times for summer escape? Yes, I think you can. If you could only apply once, they would tell you. Producer, please patch the caller through so I could apologize to them. Good morning, caller. My bad.
Hey, morning, Miss Greene. How you doing?
Hi, good, thank you. How you do?
Really, boy, the Powerball up to $905 million.
That's something, eh?
You can't ask some see Alan, right? You know everything in the universe. You can't ask him for them numbers, eh?
Which ones?
For the Powerball numbers.
Oh, no, I thought you was talking about the electricity bill.
No, man. See, if you win the Powerball, right, then you sure you can pay the electricity bill. Because that's almost equivalent nowadays to a Powerball number.
Right now, I wouldn't want to win the Powerball. You know why?
Okay.
How much you say it is?
$905 million. Boy, Miss Greene, hold on, before you go, if I win that, right, I can put a big gate in front of Acapio to block off anyone for coming in Foxhill. I think I can end the gate probably going around the Bernard Road, I'd say, right before you reach the park.
Yeah?
One big gate, two gates, a front gate and a back gate. And all our Foxhill people knows we get hard sometimes. I can just load the gate.
Yeah. But look here, don't lock the gate in mango season or dilly season or hog plum season. Don't lock the gate then, though. Why you wouldn't do that? But let's get back to the $900 million Powerball win. See, because first of all, Uncle Sam could take half of that, right?
So we look at $450 million. We still good.
Right. And who could take the next half? Who can take your 450 down to 225?
I mean, freeze. Your wife, if you do fall and get divorced,
BPL could take it. If you win $900 million right now, you would need that gate in Foxhill because I come in to pester you to go help BPL take care of this $500 million bill they have.
No, but guess what? If I win that, right? Guess who can be the next MP in Foxhill? Me.
You'd be a fool to be the next MP in Foxhill.
You think so?
I move into Foxhill. In
fact,
I was trying to
see. I can make sure everyone in Foxhill light never get cut off.
This is what I'm saying. When Sebas, when it was official, right? Like when he was officially acknowledged as a candidate, right, for Fort Charlotte. I was getting ready to start a campaign. Everybody in New Providence should move to the Fort Charlotte constituency. Set up your tent, find a light pole or plug and connect your electricity and change the address on your BPL bill. Everybody. And so if you win $905 million in the Powerball, everybody move into whatever constituency you could be the MP of.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. We can live good.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. I hope. Now, you from Fox Hill and I from Fox Hill, right?
Do you know we straight?
The people in the West, though, they are upset this morning. And I don't blame them. It didn't even make the headlines this morning? It didn't even make, we're so used to it. Oh, here we go. Rollins slams BGC. Right? See, the people in the West have been suffering all weekend. Right? They had a major incident at Clifton. The Windsor Field Station is down. And throughout the day, throughout the night, multiple surges, power coming off, power going, coming on, power going off, multiple times. The people in the West are having a really hard time, cousin, right? But I remember, now I'm only 50, and I could only be talking about like my peers, right? But I remember when we in the East were suffering, the same thing the people in the West suffering, and worse, for years, not for one summer, not for 2 summers, for decades, right?
I remember 30 summers.
My peers, right, would say things to me like, well, you just need to figure out how you're going to move to the West, right? And they would say things like, well, you haven't prepared for life. See, me, I move into the West where they don't have any electricity issues. And I want to say to them, look at you now.
You already know.
Sometimes. No, because the way they said it, it was filled with derision, right? Like I should be ashamed that I don't have the wherewithal, right? Like I have not organized my life in a way that I could just pick up and move to the West because they can't keep the power on in the East. But
I know you feel, because I remember when I went to Freeport, right? And people in Freeport, that's years ago, say, "Ma, we had cable before yours." So I understand how you feel.
Right? But the real problem is this, is that the people in the East were trying to get other people to see the problem so that they could organize, right? So that they could organize a strategy to solve the issue. But the people in the East, they were laughed at. They were laughed at by people in the West and people who could just easily move back and forth between the East and the West. And now here we are, 20 years later. You say 30 years later, 20 years later, 10 years later, and the people are in a panic. And rightly so. When you have elderly dependents, geriatric dependents you have to take care of. They have medical needs, right? They got psychological needs. And then you got juvenile dependents you got to take care of. They got needs too. And then school is about to start. Their needs are going to triple. They're going to need access to consistent power and telecommunication services so they could do their best in their schoolwork. You know what I'm saying? So they could manage schoolwork, extracurricular life, and home life. It could be it's going to be a real problem shortly on multiple fronts, more than we experience in now, right? We need to organize. Nothing is going to change until things fundamentally change, like the way that the stakeholders talk to you about the problem, like whether the stakeholders are willing to identify the real problems. We don't have an energy crisis, people. We have an administrative crisis because we got because we got the most talented minds in the administration space and in the executive space, right? Like the management space and the administrative oversight space. We got the most talented people there.
But you don't need the power station just to old, and at some point in time, we just need to give up the ghost rate.
Okay,
you have a old car.
Right.
The car ain't working, so you keep on parching.
Good stuff.
Then all of a sudden, she stopped working.
Right. Who you gonna blame? You gonna blame the car or the person who is responsible for maintenance of the car?
The maintenance.
And what that is, that's an administrative crisis.
Yep.
Right? We got the country's best technicians. We have the people with the brand new knowledge. And then we got the people with the experiential knowledge that knows how the system works, but more importantly, knows how the system does not work. Right? That's the most important part. They know how the system does not work. We have all of that. And we got the money. They find money out of anywhere, right? To put into, they say what BPL has received. I can't confirm like whether it's a loan, like what the actual mechanism was used to do it. But since 2023, I think BPL has received in support money, like for support, $300 million from the Bahamian people. That's $100 million every year, right? I may be wrong on that figure because I don't have the notes in front of me. This is an administrative crisis.
Yeah, but it getting out of hand now because at some point in time, right, someone's going to actually suffer a health issue over this,
I mean,
PMH say, no, they cutting off.
Well, listen, this is it. Real lives are being lost in the midst of this crisis.
Yeah, I really hope you know one dead over this one.
Like, what you mean? People's dialysis services have been altered, right? Like they've been shifted. Have been that's the word, disrupted. People's dialysis services have been disrupted, right? And so we're talking about a disruption taking place in an already dysfunctional space. This power issue has real consequences.
Yeah, this getting real crazy.
And
but folks, we can talk later, though.
Yes, sir. Go check if your power's still on. The text says that is not true. West were out of lights for 4 hours yesterday. So what are you saying is not true? That the power been... I've seen people talk about the power been on and off and on and off. And what part of the West, Texter? Give me a specific area where you experience only a 4-hour shortage. You like that. Send it to me. Here's a text. Good morning, Miss Greene. Yes, traffic laws have changed. When yesterday on the zebra crossing, a vehicle overtook the car that stopped and almost hit the person on the pedestrian crossing. Yeah. The people just ignore pedestrian crossings in this town, And then here's the next part. They're putting the pedestrian crossings in like awkward and I think inappropriate places, right? See, because that pedestrian crossing on Shirley Street between East Street and Parliament Street, right? That's not there for the regular public. That's not there for the regular, I can be honest with you. That's there for the church. That's there for the church, right? See, because if you notice throughout New Providence, when you come to a traffic light, right, and you see the big, thick white line in the road, that big, thick white line is where you're supposed to stop your car. And if you go beyond that line, there's a $250 fine in the books. I don't know if the police has carried the books with them. I don't even know if the police has read at this point in time. But it's in the books, right? $250 for breaching that white line. And you'll notice there are some silver plates, 2 lines of silver plates parallel to each other and the white line, right? Those silver plates, in between those silver plates, that's the pedestrian crossing. And it is at the intersection, right? It's at the intersection. That pedestrian crossing there is really for the church. But since it's there, that's what the people's supposed to use to cross the road. You'll know that Shirley Street there are no plates, there are no silver plates indicating this is a pedestrian crossing. Let's go to the phone line. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Miss Greene. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
First, let's start off with this pedestrian. Did you saw the video on Facebook where the mother was complaining but her child got knocked down in Prince Charles?
No, I saw the video, Prince Charles, right? This is a story here. Teen hit by car while fleeing aggressive Robinson Road dogs?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that's one.
Yes.
2, I don't know why they just put pedestrian crossing. You ever go around the roundabout, that's how you're coming from off the roundabout to go straight.
Mm-hmm.
The pedestrian crossing is right at the end of the roundabout.
Mm-hmm.
So they expect you to come to immediate stop right at the end of a roundabout to let somebody cross if they're crossing, which is very hazardous because that can create the person in the back of you hitting you.
Yeah.
But I want to address the BPL situation. That's what I called for.
Yes, ma'am.
So $8.49 is what they give you back every time the electricity gets cut off.
No, let me tell you what that $8.45 or 49 cents is, right? In 2018, somebody turned on one of the BPL generators before, right? The person who was responsible for, assessing them and determining you could turn them on, turned it on. Now, it turns out that the person who turned it on perhaps went through it the right way, right? To have the authority to turn it on vested in them, right? But when they turned on the generator, it wasn't ready to turn on. And it resulted in a fire. That's 2018. That's 6 years ago, right? In 2019, this sort of story floated in the media. I have to find it, but we have some archival, like digital archival loss. There was an article where a state agency said, or a state actor said, well, we see that somebody has leaked a portion of the report to the public. And the rest of their statement suggested because somebody leaked the rest of the report to the public, we are not inclined to release the whole report to the public, right? So that little $8.45, that is connected to the 2018 generator fire and the subsequent loss of service and how it impacted consumers through that time till they got themselves sorted out.
So from 2018 to now, $8.45.
Then it gets
the baseline.
Yeah, for the customers that were deemed to be affected.
Everything going up. Everything has been going up. Electricity, rent, mortgage, except you pay. Since electricity has been going up, shouldn't you think that listen, 45 cents should have been going up as well?
I see what you're saying, right? Like how when you win a court case, you win a court case like after 20 years and the judge like assesses how much that amount would be worth now. And they say, yeah, I feel you.
That's my point. But $8.45 is a slap in the Bahamian face. Because you take your pack of meat and you put it inside the freezer and the current off, that alone right there is more than $8.
But hold on, it gets better. Hold on, it gets better. I don't actually think there's like I don't know if there's a legal mechanism that enables the consumers, right? Like I think because here's what happened: the fine was assessed, right, and the fine amounted to $600,000+, right? The fine to BPL or BC was assessed. It amounted to $600,000+, and then IRCA said, as opposed to y'all paying that amount of money to us, you should give it back to the consumer, right? And so what I'm saying is I don't know if there is a legal mechanism that actually, says, okay, this is the amount, then you directly put it into the accounts of the users. However, with $600,000 fine, I would have preferred, as opposed to you giving me back a little $8.45, I would have preferred that you hired, right? You hired 3 experts or technicians or 3 members of staff whose job it is to liaise between consumers and IRCA and the service providers, right, to seek resolution, or invest that $600,000 in the drafting of legislation that will give IRCA the teeth necessary, right, to not just manage consumer service provider complaints, right, and consumer issues with the service provider, but, right, so not just the legislation, but then also provide the staff that's going to process the complaints, right? Because right now, I think IRCA only can step in and facilitate, like try as a liaison to try to get the 2 sides speaking. But there's nothing in legislation, right, where IRCA manages the consumer service provider relationship. $600,000 could have done plenty things if used strategically, but giving consumers back $8.45 is like a spit in the face, right? A slap in the face, spitting in my face.
And until you go to the beach.
And yeah, because why, you don't enjoy your country?
But my question is, instead of they take that same $8.45 they gave to everybody and go and do what was done, because this is a question I'm about to ask you that none of the other radio personnel could have seen the answer. Go and get some generators like we did back in 2019, and solve the outage problem and use the generators in the time being. Now, my question to you is, because I asked all the CA, Neri, and Chicago, them, and none of them saying that could answer me at the time. What happened to those generators under the S&M that was purchased to help with the outages?
You mean,
and those were LNGs, hybrid generators. So what happened to those generators?
listen, I got to walk back through the articles, right? But if we're talking about the generators and then Wärtsilä came on board with the generators, right? I don't know what happened to them. Being honest with you, I have to walk through the articles to see if I could make sense of what has happened.
And this would need to happen.
Yeah.
Our journalists nowadays need to hold these people's feet to the fire and remind them how much noise the PLP had made at the time when they closed the roads to transport them stuff for 3 days.
Yeah, right.
The PLP them raised hell about that.
Yeah.
But now the PLP can't give an account for where those generators went when they won the election 5 years ago.
But listen, I've been asking questions. What happened to Wärtsilä? Right? What happened to the Wärtsilä staff? Why did that part of the contractual agreement just seem to fall away? Because remember, we got the announcement that Wärtsilä is leaving. And then I was on the airwaves. It may not have been on the clock, right? But I asked, like, was it the pieces of building falling out on them? Because, like, if I'm in a building that's not fit for purpose, right, that's running, and the operation of the generators expose massive structural issues, and ain't nobody really want to talk about it, I'd pull out too. I would pull out too, because Corinne Mitchell reminded me the Bahamas is a free-to-quit state. Ain't nobody could keep you on a job. You could go. If you're not pleased with the work environment, if you're not satisfied with the discourse and the things, the policy statements, the things your company is saying out loud or to you, you could go home, and there are mechanisms available for recourse. So don't just stick on no job, right, and do foolishness because you're mad at the people. But the point is, you've asked a great question. I have been asking the questions.
I have one more question for you.
Yes, ma'am, ask it.
BPL and BGC?
Yeah.
I think that's what they name?
Bahamas Grid Company, yeah.
What is the role of BGC?
Okay, so here's what happened. At the beginning of the conversation that the government started about energy reform, right? And
they sell the stocks them to create BGC?
Well, right. So we were told by the state, and I got that documentation, we were told by the state that Bahamas Power and Light, right, will put in 40%, right? Like, of the 100%, they'll put in 40%. And an entity called Island Grid Solutions, which was, I think, a subsidiary of Pike, right, would hold the other 60%. And for that 60%, that Island Grid Solutions would bring their technical expertise, right? And we putting in the transmission and distribution assets into the bundle. And that relationship between BPL and Island Grid Solutions, right, was called a special purpose vehicle and given the name Bahama Grid Company. So
their job basically is to manage the transactions between BPL and Island Grid Solutions.
Well, no, hold on. You've gone too far ahead, because here's what happened. In the midst of this conversation, right, one day, the reporters say, hey, what happened to all of the contracts, all of the things that were supposed to be tabled, right? And the Prime Minister got up and said, hey, y'all in the media, what y'all doing? I paraphrasing wildly here, okay? What y'all doing? Like, you got to be stupid or incompetent if you don't know that all of the contracts have been tabled and passed, right? And the very next morning, the minister responsible for energy got up and came on Morning Blend and said, listen, it's not that the Prime Minister misspoke, right? It's that we did not make him aware that at least one of these contracts has not been tabled, right? And I think it was this particular contract that we are talking about. So we then found out, Okay, we then found out, right, that the nature of the contract had changed without us being informed. Because we were told there's going to be a 25-year contract, right? This BGC. But
we get into
listen, we running out of time. So, what happened is, we were told, well, listen, they finished 95% of the work in 2 years, so there's no need for them to. No need for them to be here. And then we were told that they pulled out, and they're Bahamian actors and entities that have taken over the management of Bahamas Grid Company. So at this point in time, I cannot tell you with certainty what that contract looks like. I cannot tell you with certainty who now holds the 60% that was once held by Island Grid Solutions. I can't tell you the nature of the contractual relationship with certainty. I can't tell you who is responsible for management, who is responsible for liaising between entities, and all of the Bahamian people.
The stakeholders in all of this situation either.
Right, but here's what I could tell you, right? Go online, search the Guardian Digital Archives, the online site, over the last week. There is an article in there telling us about the status of the Wärtsilä engines. So you could find that information in there, right? But they will not be converted to LNG as had been the plan under the FNM. So they were hybrid, right? And that they could handle multiple types of fuel. But we have no certainty, the general public, we have no certainty on what's actually happening. And I think that's why members of the general public are upset. And that's why I engage your questions today, because they are great questions, well thought out, and people deserve answers. I got to go to this break. I'm so sorry.
No problem.
If you could call back, but thank you for asking the questions, eh?
Okay.
You have a great day. You guys, we go into a break. When we get back from the break, we're going back to the text line, and we're going to hit these papers. Oh, the stories. Eleuthera man jailed after 247 missed police check-ins. We'll be right back.
Beulah gal, can you believe this? We are now the patrol queens of the neighborhood.
We now large and in charge. So we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Can we report that too?
Of course we can.
But we could be in deep trouble if they find out.
We need to report what we see, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami.
So then we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles.
Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal.
So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in and stop the crime before it's your time. Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. Or text us through the Crack Crime Bahamas app. Stop the crime before it's your time.
Running low on summer funds? Squeeze every drop of fun out of your summer with Fidelity Personal Loan. From backyard upgrades to family getaways, Fidelity is here to help. Call 356-7764 today.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
No budget for a vacation this summer? No worries. We got you. Guardian Radio 96.9 will fly you and a guest to South Florida for a vacation of a lifetime. Our sweet summer escape gets you round-trip tickets on Bahamas Air. $1,000 spending cash, thanks to Percy's Island Games. Brand new luggage from Brass and Leather. 4 days and 3 nights at the beautiful Holiday Inn Express Plantation. Free car rental from Hertz, too. All you need is your passport. We got you covered. Enter now for the Guardian Radio 96.9 Sweet Summer Escape. Fill out the form in today's Nassau Guardian and follow us on all social media platforms. Remember, you must be 18 or older to enter. Entry deadline August 12th, drawing August 14th. Taxes not included and certain restrictions apply.
New school year, new gear. From uniforms to laptops, a Fidelity personal loan can help you check every item off of your kid's school list. Jump into back-to-school season with ease. Apply for a Fidelity personal loan today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
As the summer days wind down, a new school year begins. Grab your checklist and head on over to Kelly's House and Home for their 20% off back-to-school sale, except on net items now through September 2nd. They have everything you need like Toto, JanSport, and character backpacks, lunch boxes, composition books, pens, pencils, calculators, and more. Spend $50 or more on school supplies and you could win one of 2 gift baskets, bicycles, a laptop computer, or a Crayola-filled stocking. Catch Kelly's House and Home's back-to-school sale now through Tuesday, September 2nd.
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Celebrate, celebrate, have a good time. Celebrate, relax your mind. Celebrate and have fun. Celebrate, it's never done. Join the party.
Good morning and welcome back to On the Clock, Greene. Okay, we got the text line, and then I want to talk about this press statement that was released, I think, it was released on the 7th of August, but I didn't see it floating on social media until either this morning or last night. All right, Older Persons Rights Protection and Care Bill 2026 available for patient. Members of the public may access the bill through the link below. And it's laws, LAWS, laws.bahamas.gov.bs /CMS/legislation/under consultation HTML. Okay, I had to read it to you, right? Empty why I read the address to you, because how else will you get it? But this press statement was sent out, right? And in the press statement, the link is a live link. It's blue and it's underlined, right? That means if you receive this document, you could just hit that link and go straight to the website. But our government still has this practice of releasing pictures of press statements with very important information in it, like links for people to follow. Why are y'all uploading pictures of documents as opposed to uploading the document itself? Hey? Is that like the same reason why you can't copy and paste anything from the whole of the government website? Like, of course, there may be pages with sensitive information on it, which people will just capture in another form, like using another mechanism, they could just capture the information, But we talk about the value of information and the power of clear and coherent communication. Often our government is the biggest culprit. But let's get back to it, right? So they have released for public consultation the Older Persons Rights. So the Older Persons Rights Protection and Care Bill 2026, available for public consultation, or you can visit Bahamas Laws online. Select the legislation header, right? Like you're looking for legislation, you click on that, and then you click on under consultation to access the bill. Members of the public are invited to review the bill and submit their feedback to Law Reform Commission at bahamas.gov.bs. That's Law Reform Commission at bahamas.gov.bs. Now, before you submit your contribution, you should also go online and search. You could search for this article, PAHO launches new policy briefs to strengthen long-term care in Caribbean, right? That's Cater News. It was posted the 17th of April, right? Or you can go to the PAHO website and search long-term care. because this bill did not arise like in isolation. Remember, I reminded you all that on the 7th of May, both the Bahamian government and the Bayesian government, the Barbados government, right? They in their local papers on the 7th of May, both of our countries had an article about the same issue. In Barbados, the headline was Elder Abandonment Crisis Looms, Senator warns. And in the local paper, in the Nassau Tribune, it was Darville pledges to pass laws for families abandoning patients. In neither of these articles do I recall reference to the PAHO policy brief to strengthen long-term care. But I am certain that this conversation, well, because there's a lack of actual conversation, this legislative movement arises from this broader regional and global movement. What you could search, well, here's what you could start by searching. We are currently in the middle of the United Nations Decade of Healthy Aging. And the decade it started in 2021 and it runs to 2030. Producer, let's go to the phone line. I think this is going to be one of the most important conversations that we have as a people, especially. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Erin.
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, about the National Investment Fund last week, which they say that was formed in 2022, right?
Yeah, the act was passed in 2022.
To a non-account that they don't have no board that open this account in the National Investment Fund name, right?
Pause. Because the statement that the Prime Minister has made so far suggests that there is a board, right? His statement suggests that there is a board. They're just not prepared to tell us who is on the board yet. Now, what the act does, right, is that it calls for an independent body to be formed to make decisions about how the money is used, right? Because here's how it's supposed to work. When you generate a surplus, right, but like a real surplus, when you pay all the bills, you satisfy all the obligations, right, whether they are policy commitments that you made for the short-term future or they are legacy debts, right, you pay off all the things, and the money that you have left over, you should vest, you should put into these various funds that will be managed by independent bodies for the purpose of generating profit, right? The things are to be put into ventures and mechanisms that will generate a profit. And then you can use the profit generated for the issues or items like described. So if it's an infrastructure fund, then the money, the profit, the money or revenue generated from the funds put into the infrastructure fund should be used on infrastructure. But you don't take money from the consolidated fund to put in this fund to then go use it on infrastructure. It's supposed to be the extra money after you have realized a surplus, that you put it in a fund to be managed to generate a revenue. And that revenue is what is used, not the money in the fund, but the revenue generated from the investment of the money in the fund should be used for the purpose of the fund. So if it's an environmental causes fund, then the money generated, the revenue generated from the investment should go towards environmental concerns. But that's not what happened here. Go on.
Yeah, they say $700 million was transferred, right?
No. $700 million was realized from a bond exercise. And of that $700 million, $300 million was taken and put in the NIF. And then they took the money directly out of the NIF to put towards the airport project. That's not how the act is supposed. That's not how it's supposed to work according to the act. That right?
Okay, that's how you calculate it.
That's how I interpret the act itself.
Right. So what happened to the other $400 million plus when they say to put into the airports now, right? Do you know that under the Civil Aviation Act, because Dwight and Leandra was talking earlier today, I was talking about the information pertaining to the airports in the country, that there's a provision under the Civil Aviation Act, the old Act, I think, is Section 9, and the new Act, I think, is Section 32 or Section 36, where anyone and the director is supposed to keep the books available and get any information on any airport within the country.
Okay.
You're supposed to be able to walk in there and request information on any airport within this country.
As a member of the public.
Right. Anyone, even if you're a foreigner. I challenge you to get information on any airport or see if you will have to go to that office and stand there, because if you call, they can give you the runaround, and you will not get information on any airport because
hold on. You think I worried about information on airport? You ever been to the hospital and tried to find out information on like what you need to do to prepare for your surgery?
I know. But in reference to the plane crash that they were talking about on Independence Day.
Yes, sir.
You see what I'm saying? The safety of airports is critical because airport that is not in line with the International Civil Aviation Organization put anybody's life at risk. You see what I'm saying?
I appreciate what you say.
And safety reasons. And if you can get, and I challenge you, can get them to give you information on particular airports, whether they're private or public airports in the Bahamas, then you can wear a crown. Okay? So that's my contribution.
Thank you very much. So it's Article 9 in the old Act.
Civil Aviation Act, Section 32 or 36, something like that, under the new Civil Aviation Act, where the directors to keep records and books available for anybody to.
You see what happened when the FNM tried to get access to the register before the election? They had fire alarm. Thank you very much for your contribution, sir. I really appreciated some very good information to assist people who are trying to follow the conversation critically, right, and ask questions. Producer, let's go to the phone line. Oh, phone line caller, you got. Caller, I got no more time. Let me read these texts. Text says, have you seen the police commissioner performing any official duty in the last few weeks? Is she still in office? The last statement I heard from her was a commitment to fully investigate the bail procedures after. Yeah. But all we have is the Minister of National Security saying he has spoken to her. This was 10 days ago, the Friday before the holiday weekend. Text, I'm sorry I can't read all of these. They said there were multiple power dips in the east this weekend, power on, power off. Somebody has bungled the grid into a state of extreme instability. No, Erin, talent and smart is not enough. When a system is in crisis, you need expertise in that thing at the executive level. None of the BGC executives, including the board, are skilled in power plant management, and they have made terrible decisions. They're not skilled in political party management either. Text, thank you for your text. Good morning, Erin. Definitely Sea Beach Estates in Bahamia West need some monetary compensation. We were out by Sandy Port also on the holiday weekend. West was out 16 and a half hours on Friday, 14 and a half hours on Saturday, and 10 and a half hours on Sunday. On the holiday morning till yesterday, we had lights all day. Boy, Texter, I may be using political satire, but I am not making fun of the experiences of Bahamians in this BPL energy can't keep the power on crisis that we're having. We need to organize. That's it. We just need to organize. At the risk of being accused of starting a coup, we really need to focus on organizing ourselves so that we can produce solutions that are amenable to the stakeholders in the state and then the citizens who pay for everything. That's what we need to be doing. Tomorrow, this is a conversation I want to have tomorrow. I saw this post this morning where a woman asked, what can a single woman or single person have in their home to protect them from intruders? What is permissible in the law? And I want to ask the question, how you keep yourself safe at night? You guys, keep yourself safe at least until tomorrow. So we could talk again. But stay tuned. Guardian Radio AM and CA Nuri is up next.
Lonely time.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.